Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. This is the Monday Night Paranormal Frequencies with Sherry, and of course, we have our special guest, Michelle Johnston. How are you doing, Michelle? Did I say Michelle? Misha, I'm sorry. I know your name. Okay, I thought I did too, but Sherry's the boss. So, Sherry, tell us about our wonderful guest this evening.
Miesha Johnston is a second-generation lifelong ET experiencer, MyLab and MK Ultra survivor. In addition, Misha is a certified hypnotherapist. She specializes in trauma recovery, ADD, ADHD hypnosis, ET regressions, and past life regression. She facilitates virtual support groups for ET experiencers, MyLab and MK Ultra survivors on the internet through Zoom and in her home in Las Vegas. She's been facilitating support groups for over 20 years, and she's the organizer of the UFO group in Las Vegas. She's the author of 2 books, Covert Abductions, Military Harassment, Surveillance, Interrogation, and Mind Control, and They Weren't Butterflies, a Monarch Survivor's Story, both available on Amazon.com. Misha also has a weekly radio show every Saturday, the Starseed Awakening radio show. She's a cast member of the Evolve TV Transcending Realities TV show. Miesha Johnston is owner-operator of Vector 5 Tours of Las Vegas. She and Ranger Jay Snow have nightly tours in the Las Vegas Valley. The tours include meditation with the vectoring in of ships, information about the planetary star systems, sharing of your experiences, and hearing others' amazing stories of ET sightings and contact experiences. Misha, welcome.
Wonderful to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to be here.
Well, we're going to focus tonight pretty much on the light language and, I guess, galactic connections and all that. But I did want to let people know, well, they know from the intro, of course, but a little bit about, because you've got groups for MyLab and MK Ultra and people who've had these types of, MyLab, of course, is military abductions and extraterrestrial abductions as well. And so anyone who would like to look further into that, there's a whole bunch of information online. I've been enjoying a lot of your videos and everything. So there's plenty to go watch with that. But the newest thing you're really working on now is the light language. So we wanted to talk about that in your book and everything. So welcome to the program. It's an honor to have you here, Misha.
Well, thank you, Sherry and Shane, for having me.
No problem.
Well, okay, so it started some 1989. In 1989 is when I started experiencer groups. And, you know, my heart, it was near and dear to my heart because I myself was an experiencer. I also am a survivor of MK Ultra, and I do have a book about that. You know, that's They Weren't Butterflies. That's my whole story about the ET experience, also with the MK Ultra as well. So that is a background, and the reason why I tell you that is because, you know, how can we be able to accept and help and as for myself, facilitate support groups for people if I didn't already know what they were going through? So I knew it, and people would come into my group back in when I actually started the group in '90. They'd start. You know, they'd come in and they'd talk about their experience, had no one to talk about. And at first the group started with Contact Center International is what it was called. It wasn't an experiencer group per se, but during the meetings and such, my ETs would say to me, it's time for you to start an experiencer group. And I went, no, I don't want to do it. And again, over and over again. And then for one particular night, a gal had stood up after we'd had it, because there was guest speakers that I bring in and such as that. And she stood up and said, I'm really scared. I'm having this and this experience. And my Galactic said one more time, it is now time for you to start the experiencer group. It wasn't any more of that really, it's okay, whenever you're ready. It was now time. So I knew it was. I stood up, I said, I'm starting a group. And that started to go. And it went, it went into 1991. And 91, I started the co-ed group. And then in 92, I started the teen group and young adults group. And then in 90, very, very soon in 92, not even 93, I started the children's group for children and their parents. So from age like 5, 6 years old and on. So it's been something that's very near and dear to my heart. And the ATs have been working with me my whole life. I've been in experience since I was 3 years old. My first one was a BG, is what I called him. It was BG's the Bears. But I'm going to just kind of show you some pictures of those guys as well, of the different experiences that I had as well. But yeah, so
I did want to say, you've had your life threatened about keeping quiet about this stuff, and I want to thank you for your bravery publicly, because I can't imagine what it must have been like to go through these threats on you and your family, and getting ran off the road and all sorts of chaotic stuff, and still here you are persevering. And I believe you've had help from your Galactic family, as many of us have, that we know. We've had these brushes with things that should have probably killed us, accidents and things like that, and miraculous things that came in and saved us. So I want to thank you for being brave and coming out and trusting your Galactic family to keep you safe.
Well, thank you. Well, I appreciate it. And yes, those times were there. They've kind of passed now. I don't know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Let's see.
That didn't work then. Okay, let me try. Allow. Yes. First time
there we go.
Out. I started my experiencer groups, my internet experience groups on Hangout, probably about 7 years ago, and then I went, and now I'm doing them on Zoom. And we have a little delay here. I don't know. Come on, you. Not going. Not showing. Since we got in the air.
Can you maximize it by any chance?
Well, I'm trying to do the slideshow, and it's not allowing me to set that slideshow. Well, okay, I can maximize it, but that's about the best I can get it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Okay, so of course my first experience was with these fellas here.
Wow.
And as a child, I called them the BGs, the Bears. I lived in Idaho, and so I kind of thought they were baby Bigfoots, and I really thought Bigfoots were bears. But then many years after, as I was an adult, I went to Star Wars show and movie and saw these guys and said, oh my goodness, that's them. And this to be was given to me by a man who said this was an actual picture of a BG. So I hope you can see that good. I do not understand why my thing isn't working.
Seems there's a lot of truth sometimes in movies, they give us.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going. There we go. All right, so now you can see a bit better. So yes, and this was a very positive experience. I loved them. They were the sweetest little things, and they sound like little munchkins. And then I also had very positive experience with the willowy ones. And they're very tall. Well, for me, I was very short at the time I was a child, but at 6 years old was the first time. But so they seemed very tall to me. So I'd say they were about 5.5 feet. They were not the short ones. And they were very white looking. And I call them willowy because they really moved very, like they didn't even have any bones. Along this time, I'm also in Christian religion. And as I grew up, um, I would, speak what they called speaking in tongues. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
in my experiences, the what they called edifying couldn't be done. Everyone in the church were always trying to figure out all the different languages I had, and that they couldn't tell what they were. And I've since, of course, found out what they were because they continue talking to me in my life. And in fact, during my experiences as a my lab experience, which is military reabduction, I was used as an interfacer because I could speak with the different types of uh, aliens that were down there. Now, the difference between these, like the woolly one here, and the ones in the underground bases, I'm going to just pass forward all of this stuff. Okay, is there was different types of ETs in the underground bases, and they are, in my opinion, working for shadow government, for the Illuminati and such as that, and not working for, I should say, working with, because there was a particular time where I'm going to come back to this guy. I want to show you this one here. No, I guess we'll show you this. Um, and to show you about the interface, I was walking. I was like, had went to bed one night. I woke up. I'm walking down this hallway, and I see these soldiers passing me. I see people in lab coats passing me. Everybody looks at me up and down, so I know I'm there. Even though I can't feel myself walking, I know I'm walking because they have an ability that they've used, is actually it's back engineered basically from some of the ETs, I'm sure, is how to be able to um, make people be paralyzed basically, but yet still be able to move. Now, I will tell you from my own experience as being an MK Ultra, they have things like ketamine, which is a drug that makes you absolutely, you move, you walk, you do whatever they say, you're totally in a mind control. So it also could have been that, but I do know that there was something walking next to me, and I thought I had a picture right here to show you of him. No, I don't. I don't have my other project, so we'll just go on with this one, and when it comes along, I'll point it out. But
Okay.
it looked similar to the one in the middle, except the middle one is actually one that was sent to me by my galactic family to protect me from those other ones. Now, the other ones have a longer snout. This one actually call Ayano, and he's a very positive being. But at any rate, so I was walking down this hallway, definitely human hallway, not extraterrestrial by any means, and I knew something was walking next to me, and I um, thought, oh, I know I'm not alone because they're looking at me, but they're not looking at him. I know there's a reptilian next to me. And so, right at that very moment, he shot this imagery and this picture and this message to me that they know better, they must honor us. And basically, the whole scenario was if anybody looks in their eyes, this type of thing can happen. And then I saw a couple of scenarios where one man looked like he went crazy when he looked in their eyes, and the other one was just kind of drug away. So it was against the rules to look in their eyes and peer at their in their eyes because it was against rules and because they had hypnotic control. They're very, very telepathic and psychic. So later on that day, that night, the same experience with the same being, I knew now that I was communicating with him telepathic. He was telepathically communicating with me. And so I asked him, I said, why are you invading our planet? What do you want with our planet? what did we do to you? And he says telepathically back to me, it's not your planet, it's our planet. We were here long before you, and you're the invaders. You're the invaders. And then this imagery shows me that there's these dinosaurs, all kinds of dinosaurs, raptors, different prehistoric animals, and they're running from comets that are being shot down. And they are being shot down. I know from what he's shown me that they're weapons that are being used against the prehistorics. And the raptors are, he tells me now, and were more intelligent, smaller, and they went underground. And so he wanted me to know his side of the story. And I have to tell you, it makes me wonder. I can understand how they feel, but yet I know that we as humans have been genetically altered since the beginning of time.
By the
So
Anunnaki, right?
by the Anunnaki, right, and by others, by other ETs, and in fact, the reason I wanted to tell you about this story is because this was my latest book that I've written, and this book is a compilation of a lot of different people's information. People and experiencers have given me their pictures, their illustrations, and I don't have the book yet. It's published and it is at Amazon.com, both as a book and as a Kindle. But in this book, it is all these different imagery, which I might just show you a couple of things, just for the heck of it on that. But I'm going to stop sharing for a minute here so I can look at you and talk to you a little bit more. Therefore, it was very important that people know that the ETs have been coming here since the beginning of time. They've been doing genetics, so they have a stake in us, not just as another species, but many of them as our family. And many of us are getting the communications from people, from ETs, such as in galactic language, automatic writing, symbols, music, even musicians are getting guitar players. Kevin Australia, you should have him on your show. He is a wonderful artist, and he gets channeled music from the galactic and stuff.
I have Kevin on as a friend on Twitter and stuff, and we talk sometimes. Yeah, he designs like kind of like channel decorations for like the guitar. I think for like this debate, this part, I don't know what it's called, the handle.
Oh, neck of it. The neck.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's very cool. Yeah, so he'd be a great person to have on. And let me see, I lost my thought here.
But just to point out what you were showing there is a lot of people have it in their mind that all reptilians are bad. But isn't it like every race has its good and its bad when we're looking at this sort of thing, or no?
Well, yes, they do. Yes, they do. And in fact, that's what I'm trying to pull up right now. I don't know why it's not coming up today. But this just gives you a little indication of that they're not all bad. No, of the book and what it's about. Now I have to find you again here. Sorry.
No problem.
Oh, I don't know Hangout at all very well here. Okay. I use Zoom all the time, so I know that one well, but I don't know Hangout.
Zoom is good. Yeah, I like Zoom a lot, except for if you have more than one person or one other person on there, then you're, I think, limited to 45 minutes or something like that. So typically
I pay for it, so it might be
right. So you can have as many people as you want for as long as you want, right?
exactly. Okay, so where did it go? There. All right. So this Galactic Genealogy, Planetary of Origin book, and this gives you just a little indication of the types of ETs there are. So there's the Agarthans, Alpha Centaurians. You see how There are reptilians actually living in peace and with other human races. Now, this
Mm-hmm.
draconians. So the draconians are the ones that are indeed part of the group that works with the underground bases in the dumbs in the deep underground bases. And in fact, the one I was telling you about right here is him. And I had an artist draw this the best as I can, but this is the one that would telepathically communicate with me. Um,
And it sounds like from what you were saying that they like outrank them, or they've got more seniority than a lot of the humans in these dumbs, right?
Depending upon the level they're in. The levels
Okay.
is what I have found out that and the level that I was in with him, basically they're in control. Now another time I was taken, this was with Melinda Leslie, and we were taken, and this guy was the draconian that was in, involved in the experience, and he basically we were taken out of my house in the middle of the night and put in a van by military. The guys had night vision goggles on, dark uniforms. They took us to a base. This was in California, and the underground base because Melinda remembers going underground. I was still out until I woke up on a table with a lieutenant colonel walking back and forth, cussing at me and screaming at me and saying, "This is it." Uh, we'd just been on the Art Bell radio show, and they were not happy about that. And they'd already warned both Melinda and myself, but a lot with me, to to not do it, to not be on shows and not talk about it, especially the reptilian. And in that show, I tried to talk about rep, the reptilians I'd seen in the underground bases, and I'd no sooner got the word reptilian out, and my phone went down, or the connection to the radio station went down. So 2 nights later, they abducted us, and then, like I said, I woke up on the table. He was screaming at me, and he said, "This is it. You're not going to be on a radio show. You're not going to be speaking at conferences anymore. You're done. It's over." And to show you how important this is, and show how what we mean basically is that he said, "I want you to meet someone." And so this guy comes in, and he is 7.5, really close to 8 feet tall. Very, very scary, scariest one I've ever seen. More of a draconian for sure. And he came over to me, looked in my eyes, and did this um, holographic thing, and made me see horrific things happening to my family. So, and my sons and my grandchild. So, um, shortly after that, I got out of it for a few years. I had to because it was just a little early to start. That was back in 2000, and
Mm-hmm.
people weren't out talking about the things. So you have the Andromedans, and you have. I wanted to just get to this one point whether we got the reptilians. I hope oh, God. I'm so.
The blue beings you passed that look
That
like
look like
the
the
avatars.
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 Oh yeah,
What
absolutely.
are
The
are
those?
those?
Apollonians are the avatars. Yes,
Ah, okay.
I can.
Wow.
Yeah, so of course I couldn't use the avatar, a picture, but this is as close as we can come to what they look like, and it's very interesting because quite possibly Hollywood has knows a lot of this. They've got have they getting screenplays given to them and about different experiencers, contacts and abductions and different types of things like Avatar, the movie. They say supposedly that's some of the things that the secret space is into and doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Orions, which have grays and reptilians and humans all together. There's the the Carians, which have been with us since the Egyptian times, you know. And in fact, the Carians are the ones that genetically developed the draconians. That's why the draconian picture is there.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Out of the swamps of the Orion swamps, they developed the genetically developed the draconian, the first draconians. Now the other draconians that have come in and done the battling and things like that, I believe it's a different story with them, and I'm not sure. I don't know about that. Now our Arkans, you saw that picture on my other picture I showed you. Well, the Arkans came and protected my kids for the same time that that other reptilian in that other picture that I called Ayano, he
Mm-hmm.
protected me. The My children would wake up and these guys would be standing at their bed protecting. So, so along with knowing the different types of ETs and the galactic families and such, well, of course, you've got the mantid race as well. Mostly a very positive race. You've got the different uh, these this is Mars, and Mars first was inhabited by many other people, and then the secret space program basically took over. Okay, but the main thing I wanted to get to, and of course that's Pleiadians that we just passed there,
Mm-hmm.
giving you a little bit of an idea here. This is where my Ayana came from. He came from both. He's both Orion and Procyon, but his species is found in both. Okay, so this is the one I was trying to get to here. No.
This is so cool.
What's that?
This is really beautifully put together.
Thank you. Well, it's really important that people know that there's so many wonderful species out there that are not harming them, and many feel like we're their family. So these are the different types of reptilians. That's Ayano, and this is the one that was in the underground base, but still their Earth, let's say, evolved from the raptors, and you can see that by somewhat of the look there. And then, of course, you've got the amphibian type, and there's about three or so different types of amphibian types as well. So, and then, like I said, they've been speaking galactic language to me my whole life. And this is the Syrians. This is one of the planetary systems that I'm from. And also that Ayana
I was
speaks.
gonna just ask you about a mermaid.
Yes, mermaids. Yes, mermaids and mermen are from the are from Syria, and also the dolphins and the whales are from there. So, so going back to the galactic light language, so they've been talking to me for quite a few years, but in the last, say, 4 years, they've really said that we've been talking to you for a long time, and we've been talking to others, and we just feel that it is important that you listen to us, that you communicate with us, that we connect again as a family. They feel that the hybrids that, and I'm not saying all hybrids are a positive experience. However, the majority, again, just like ETs, are a positive experience. And with the hybrid program, a lot with the mantids, some of the grays, many of the grays, some of the Pleiadians, many races are doing hybridization program. The ones
Even the humans, correct?
well, absolutely, underground bases, the humans are
Right.
doing that too, and that's what I mean. Those are not positive experiences. They have a
Right.
whole different agenda of what they want to do with those children and have done. In fact, yeah, I wanted to show one other thing about that too. So their agenda is more of what they're going to do with the kids, making the kids be. Going back here to stop this and get another picture
Yeah,
for.
because they do a lot of dark stuff and they do trades for technology and things like that on the deep underground bases, um,
They do. Yeah.
compared to what some of the Star family does as it relates to hybridization programs.
Yeah. So here is an example of the super soldier children. Now, with these children, this is the type of program that some of the programs. And I should say at this point that I believe, in my experience being taken to the underground bases and the different people I was taken by and the different levels I was in, I believe that it is important to tell you that there is levels even within the factions of the military and the factions of the shadow government. They don't know what each others are doing. I believe that, like, you have a level of military that are just interested in what's going on. So yes, they may take people and check them out. They may do hypnosis. They even may use drugs to try to find out what people are having their experiences are they flying the ship, what the ship's like, what's the propulsion like, all these different things. But there's another level above that that then starts getting really ugly, and they do research on the children. So, like, for instance, that's where the Montauk Project came in. Montauk was one of that levels of that shadow government, where they use children to time travel and learn how to time travel. And so they put them in these time travel chairs. It also teach them using instruments and things like that, but then also physically altering them genetically with aliens. They teach them how to remote view. And they, of course, did many, many genetics with animals, humans, children. It's horrific. And then this child, for instance, they doing the AI. So they're mixing the AI with children. And this little boy is a robot, basically. And the fellow that gave me all of these pictures, I have not heard from him in years, and I'm really concerned about him. If he happens to be hearing today, please contact me, because he was born in one of these places, or raised in it. I think he was adopted. So he was raised in one of these places. Had a lot of genetics. He had a lot of trauma-based mind control done to him. He had a lot of horrific things, and he's the one that told me about this. And he said this little boy and the robot dog, and the boy was also connected in an AI situation, would be the one that would bring the kids back after they'd ran away or anything like that. So that's their program. Now, the hybrid program for the ETs is so much different. I mean, I've been involved in the hybrid program and can, share a hybrid story or two. In fact, this little fellow here is one of my hybrids right there. And my little girl looked very much like that. I had, at one point, I was taken to, after many times and presentation, because they present you with these children. I don't believe that they can live here. And I know this to be true, that they cannot live in this atmosphere, or actually basically the pollution that we have. They also, because of the genetics, they may have trouble with the atmosphere here as well. And very much, they cannot live in the frequency that we're in. We're in such a low energy, low frequency. They cannot live in that. So they can't live with us. Now, lately, though, we have had more and more children being born that, people call them, anyway, gifted children. Mm-hmm. Children that can, play a symphony on a piano or different things like that. So we believe that a lot of that could be the hybrid children that are being born. And in fact, I know people very well that their children are savants and that they definitely have these amazing abilities. And so the hybrid children are part of my communication. They communicate with me, a group of them. They call themselves the consortium. And they're part of who were the ones that downloaded that I needed to do that, the book. And then, of course, along with the book comes the chart. It's a smaller chart that I send out for people, but along with the dowsing with the pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see me, by the way?
Now, is the consortium that you're talking about the same one that is mentioned in the Ancient Arrow site or the Wingmakers material? Or is it different? Are you familiar with that?
I do not know that. Never,
Okay,
never.
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I.
it's a Central Sun race. They call themselves the Wingmakers or something.
Oh,
Um,
I don't know. They just called themselves a consortium, and they
okay.
were all different types of galactic beings, and then also children hybrids were also part of it. And one of them was mine, but then the majority that were not my children. And so they wanted me to, make the chart, which is the galactic genealogy chart, because they said everybody's so interested in getting what their genealogy is here on Earth. Well, it's very important what it is out there. And then with using a dowsing, a pendulum, then you find out what your galactic planet of origin is. I could
Oh,
even
nice.
even find out what your galactic planet of origin
That
was.
sounds fun. Let's.
We
You want
can
to
do
do?
that.
Sherry,
Sure.
you first.
We need to go a thing here. All right. Who first? Sherry first?
Yeah, let's do Sherry.
Sherry. Just think about what is my galactic planet of origin.
Okay.
Or you, yeah, just think about it or say it. What is my genealogy? What is my galactic genealogy? And then the pendulum, it goes straight. So I start looking at it going straight.
So you want me to tell you what I feel like it is, or
Uh,
no?
n-
Are
well,
you
no,
gonna do it?
no,
Okay.
no, no. The pendulum went to it. Now I'm going to tell you what it says.
Oh.
Oh, it says a lyran, the lyris, the feline lyran. Um, as I showed image of the types that is somewhat like a lion and such like that. That's part of it. Now, lions. Let me see. I'm trying to remember some of the
That goes along with your daughter as well.
Yeah, that definitely is my daughter.
Yeah.
your
But
daughter.
the Lyran, that would probably be more of your original source, kind of like I was originally from Vega, but I spent time in the Pleiades and Orion, one of the belt stars of Orion, and even
Yeah,
in ancient Earth. So a lot of people have been around in a lot of different places. Yeah,
exactly. Many, 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 many places.
yeah,
Okay, so, and then with you, Shane, um, one of your original places, and I bet you it's going to be Lyra because Lyra and Vega are right next to each other.
right. So I'm thinking about it.
And it does go to Lyra. And so, what other ones would it be? Okay, it's starting to move across the thing. Um, okay, you've spent time as a Pleiadian. You and I wish you wouldn't have told me that because it would have went there anyway. It always does. I don't know. I didn't hear your other one. So let me see. Beltrex Orion. And so it's Sherry. Don't tell me anything, okay? Okay, it's moving across the thing, someplace else, going straight now. Syrian is what it says is yours, as well as you've had connection in with Zeta Reticuli. So um, that just gives you a little example. And then, of course, you have characteristics that go along with that. And those are also in the book. So people can basically find out a lot about their genealogy by first doing the chart and going and reading about themselves, reading about the different beings that have lived there and are living there, uh, learn about their characteristics. And it's just the darndest thing that I find people's characteristics really, really match. I will do it for you, on another time. I mean, we don't have time to probably do all that reading and stuff. I could maybe give you one a little bit. Like with her, let me give an example for Syrian. A Syrian, good example of a Syrian. Syrians are a little untrusting. They, because of things that have happened in life, they have been mistreated, or what's what I'm trying to think of. They've had people turn on them, and that to be a close, trusted friend of a Syrian means that you've been carefully scrutinized. So Does that fit at all for you, Sherry?
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
Yep.
so then with Lyran, let's see. Oh no, I can't do both of them. Let me do another one here. But we'll do Orion for him, the Beltrex for him. I think if I remember right, Beltrex needs to be in. Hang on a second. Beltrex. Okay. Um, it is important to realize Orions are very. No, that's an Orion. Sorry. Oh, that's it. That's one. That's one. Yes. Orions are very sensitive to balance and may feel physically upset or ill in situations where there is imbalance in themselves or others. Orions need beauty, balance, flow of energy in their surroundings. They also tend to be critical of others and themselves. They are expect and seek perfection within themselves and others. And they can be excellent teachers, musicians, artists, um, and they see things that other people do not. They notice the other
Wow.
things. Does that fit you at all?
What do you think, Sherry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have assisted me with this and helped me, and they feel that it's really important that people realize that it's time now. Part of the ascension has to be that we accept our galactic heritage, and that we realize that we are just spiritual beings having a human life. We're just ground control here, and we're, working. All of us are doing our part to bring in the ascension, and part of it is as connecting with our galactic family. So,
Amazing.
if you have any questions, I can go all different ways here, but
I would like to, because a lot of the people in this little group of ours has been raised in Christianity, like you and I, and has already come across the speaking in tongues and feel like I mean I don't feel like I left the church and I lost that ability or anything. I feel like I still have that what they call the baptism of the Holy Spirit, But I think there's a deeper understanding of what's really going on there, and I would appreciate if maybe you could talk a little bit more to that for those who have had that similar experience. Maybe they were raised Pentecostal, charismatic, or any of the ones that speak in tongues.
okay. Well, um, basically, my galactic family, like I said, started coming to me very young, and and not sure what else to say to you other than it's part of the communication. It's very important, and it does not have to be. It can still be a higher form, like people would when I was told, as I was growing up, that it was the angelics that were speaking through and such as that, but they never um, they never could understand what I was saying. They could never what they called edify
Interpret. Oh,
edify
right.
what they called in my church, and they could not interpret it. And then they would try and try, and they could never figure out, because some of them said, well, they're ancient languages and stuff. Is it's ancient, but no one could ever figure it out. And I believe my galactics. Well, I know my galactics talk to me all my life, off and on. And lately, they've felt that it's so important that people get connected to who their galactic family is. And of course, I want you to know that I'm not saying and mediumship to try to go find somebody that you haven't um, don't have complete safety with. So I always put a protection around myself whenever I do or speak galactic light language. And they act like they're trying to come through, and I'm not sure I want to speak light language tonight, but they feel like they're trying to come through. But at any rate,
So it can be helpful to continue to do that if we have that ability to.
it can be very helpful because I'll tell you, you get a connection with your galactic family. You feel this unconditional loving. You feel this amazing loving energy. Not only that, but when you speak that galactic language to somebody else, so much of the time it affects them. They may not know what's being said, until it's translated, and I also do translate. But they do feel it. They do feel it. So automatic writing, channeling, galactic light language, they're all methods of us communicating with our cosmic channel, with our galactic channel, our angelic channel, all of it. And they have messages for us that are very much in the way of helping us, helping guiding us to a higher path. They also will give people like a why do they want to come through? They do.
I
Okay.
can
Do you
hear
have a
it.
problem with me? Do you have a
I
Yeah,
problem?
can,
yeah. Let's do it.
I
Okay.
can,
And
Misha, I can hear them coming through.
yeah, they really want to. So yeah, let's see. You shut the listen minute. Should do so na shut go shut the no ha di. Shut the wa ha ti shin no go sha. Wa sha go shin ni wa sha ti. Wa sha ta chi ni wa sha ti ki shin ni wo ka sha na tai shi. Shi go wa na si ti ti chu be. Bu sha de shu de wa sha da ti ni wa. Sha te ge. Sha te ge new. Okay. Let's see. What message that you have for our people? First time we did this on the radio. Okay.
Mhm.
Our hearts are full of love for you. We feel your heart. We feel your pain. We feel your need and your desire for us to assist and help. But we cannot help. It is a non interference. We cannot help unless you ask us. The galactic light language gives you that opportunity to speak with us, to speak to us. That's it.
It's beautiful.
So that I actually another thing not too long ago, about a month ago, they woke me up with another download and said, "Beloved, would you like to start a galactic light language class?" I said, "A class? What?" I was just blown away. I couldn't imagine that they wanted me to start a class of galactic light language. I didn't know that I would. I'm not a teacher. I, I I'm not a college student. I mean, I started college and then I had to leave because of the mind control and MK Ultra Monarch program, but because when I was kidnapped. But I didn't really want to teach this, and I really fought it a lot, but I did. So I am, and people are very happy that are in the class. It's a small class. We only have like 9 people, but it's good because it's perfect. Everybody has a chance to share and speak, and I'm teaching them how to go ahead and open up. Now, the people who want to come to this galactic class are people who've already spoken and felt or done the writing or felt the galactic language in them. People who it's not their path, it's not going to be their path. But if they do feel that, then they should work with their galactic family. And I help people learn how to use pendulums to protect itself, to communicate, to find your galactics, the different things like that. I use different methods to help people get used to it. And we had one gal when she first started the class. She said, I write language, but I don't think I'll ever talk. And now, after the third class, she's speaking it as well. So,
Wow.
so I believe it's really, really, very, very, very important. And if I don't know what energy you got from, I'd really like some feedback. What kind of energy did you feel from those?
Oh, I totally felt it. I almost felt like speaking in tongues when you did that. And the funny thing is, I've had dreams about it lately. Like out of the
Oh,
clear blue. I haven't done it for, decades, and then all of a sudden I'm having dreams about speaking in tongues again, and it was very strange that, and I'm getting chills now just thinking
yeah, me
about it.
too. Me too. That's one of the ways you know that it's good when you get the goosey bumps, you get that flutter in your tummy and things like that, and especially wanting to talk back. That's very interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're speaking to you, or another term you can use is witnessing to you that they would like you to work with them. So
What do you recommend doing for? Is there anything, I guess, that you can, any tips like for anybody that, like, if I want to do that, what types of things to do for protection before I begin something like that to keep the communications pure and
well,
good?
I always surround my area with crystals and protect.
Mm-hmm.
I also put a protective aura of God around my entire body, my chair I'm in, my room I'm in, the house I'm in. You know, I put it all around me with violet flame, also with a mirror around that, so that only the
Only
only
that's
for our highest good can even see us. Any others, like any attacks or any lower vibrations, would have the mirror flash back to them and go back to them. You see what I mean? And
Mm,
then gold I also put in there. So you just put that intention out, and you are protected. We are
okay.
really spiritual beings with such power, and the ascension. Um, Part of the ascension is what we're going to be doing with our galactic family, our galactic light language. Um,
So I always like sort of imagine this beam of light coming down, like a golden rainbow light of source protection,
uh-huh.
and that's sort of how I do it. But I didn't know if there was a better way of going about it. It was sort
Oh,
of what I intuited.
that's perfect. Any way you want it. That's why whenever I'm explaining that with people and stuff, I say I call it God or God's source. You can use whatever terminology you want, whatever you feel is safest and protected. The main thing is you put in the terminology that I am only those for my highest good can come through.
Mm-hmm.
So all information has to come through your higher self as well. So you're not going to get um, and there's nothing wrong with channeling, but when people trance channel and they actually are gone for long periods of time, well, there is that possibility, and I did go to some channeling classes about this. There is a possibility that others can step in that are not for your highest good. So I don't step out. I just move my consciousness aside a little bit so that the monkey mind isn't talking. And especially when you start translating, the monkey mind really wants to get involved in it and wants to start giving its opinionation and such that. So, yeah, I'm going to be starting up another galactic language, and it's on a sliding fee scale. I do charge $25 a class. However, if people can't make that, I work things out with them because if they feel that this is something they need to do, then I will be glad to help them with that and help them. And it always is safer and when you're sharing it in a group and you're sharing it with each other and stuff. So that
Is it is it lo- is it different? Okay, so if you're channeling alone and you're sort of doing that by yourself, and I can see the danger of stepping completely aside and sort of giving your vessel up to something to step in. But if it's like, because I know you do hypnosis too, so if someone completely gets into that somnambulistic state where they sort of step aside, but you're there offering this intention of protection around them, isn't it a little different then, or what's your opinion on that?
well, um, yeah, it's definitely going to be a different thing and very fluid in the I can't ever say that word symbolistic. I've always had a speech impairment my whole life on that one anyway. But in class and stuff, they taught us how the best way with the symbol that
Somnambulistic. Yeah, I can't hardly say it either. That's a tough one.
it's a tough one. And but very few people, not too many people are that way. Most people go into a deep relaxation. They're aware that they're aware of their body somewhat as well, but yet they still can get into the subconscious. So perhaps the subconscious is part of what's coming through, is allowing the higher self, not the higher self, yes, the higher self and the pineal gland to work through the languages. It's very possible. It is also the conscious, but it's the higher consciousness of it, not the superconscious would be more that. Whereas in hypnosis, um, though I communicate with people's higher selves all the time and
Hmm.
ask questions that go into their Akashic records and things like that, but it's slightly different. There's a difference there.
So
Um,
there's more protection than if the person's sort of holding that space for the person if they do go to that somnambulistic level. If the practitioner is, I don't know, kind of standing in the gap, if you will, for the
yeah,
person.
that's fact. Yes, and then for me, I because I am a medium, a natural medium, and a psychic. I've always been able. I go inside the regression with them, and I see what's going on. So that
Hmm.
also affords them a lot more protection. And I also know when they're in trouble and then they need to get, you know, view it on a holographic screen or something like that. So we have different
Right.
things. But when that's why you want to always protect yourself if you're doing galactic light language, because there's also probably there are not probably there's also a dark energy like the archons that probably can do language too.
Right.
You have to be very
Better safe than sorry.
yeah,
There
Yeah,
and
because
was
you
so
don't
much of it
always
has, so much of it's connected with our intention. I've noticed. I mean, I've figured out that it didn't really matter what title that you give to the person. Like, people say, you pray in the name of Jesus or the archangels or the ascended masters and all this, and I found that it doesn't really matter. It's more of your intention, more than it is a name or a title that you give. You know, and that's what it seems to me. I mean, like if you could pray to Jesus all you want, but if it's for someone to die or something, that's still going to go the wrong direction. You know what I mean?
well, absolutely, yeah, yes, it is. Intention is so very important, and you can be so powerful with just your intention. Your intention is so very powerful. But of course, you always want it on the light side. You always want it to be the correct intention. And the people I've met with the galactic language, their hearts are very open to the unconditional love energy, and they're very kind, loving people, and they feel like they have part of this mission. In fact, I should say that a couple of things I'm going to tell you about that. So, um, we believe that the at some point in the future there will
Hmm.
be people who are going to be needing to translate the galactic language that they're speaking to other people. And in fact, many of us, and I have seen myself in parallel lives where we're already at that point, and I'm translating for a dignitary or official of some country. I don't know who it is because it doesn't actually say, but I see that I'm talking to a human, and I know it's a parallel human life probably. So that is one very important thing. We're going to be the translators when the time of great change comes, and this is the terminology that they gave me. They also said that we are the can I say this over there? Um, okay, let me put it this way. During the war, they use Native American language to do codes. So we're the code breakers. We're the code breakers. So the dark side of the energies that are in and on our planet, the shadow side, the archons, the different ones like that, they cannot understand the galactic terminology. Some of it, maybe some they could, but they've talked to us about being code breakers, that we are going to be using codes that only are the people who speak it and the people who receive it are going to be able to know what it is. Which means if sometime in the future, I believe that it's going to be used as, to keep from the dark side and messages to bring messages to Earth and things like that. I know that probably sounds probably sci-fi, but, but this is what they've told me, and this is I feel so very strongly about it. Same thing with the automatic writing. There's so few translators of the automatic writing, and it
um,
also has codes.
One of the things I wanted to have you speak on is when we think of light language, a lot of times people think of it on the very human language level, like you can take this word and translate it into this word, but it's not really like that word for word translation. Isn't it more of like packets of telepathic thought or ideas or something? Can you
It
speak
is,
on that?
absolutely. Yes, yes. Very good question. Yes, it very much is. We get concepts, whole sentences, and ideas, and sometimes pictures during the galactic light language. So it isn't going to be this is a verb, because first of all, they don't even use our verbs. Most of the language that you see from, like the Ponti, for instance, they don't use vowels. Their verbiage is completely different, so it isn't word for word. And now I'm sure there's some people who maybe can do that, but more importantly, it is the whole message and the concept that they're sending over to us, and giving us. Um, Along with, let me see, there was one other thing I wanted to mention on that. Oh yeah, the imagery. It the imagery. The more you do galactic language, the more the imagery they send you. So now, when I always speak galactic language, they always give me imagery. Sometimes it's of them. Sometimes it's of a message that they're sending me, and the whole concept of the message. For instance, one time I was over on the other side, and this was with like Pleiadians, and they said you can manifest things so fast. You have to realize that more and more in your world, the veil is thinning and you are manifesting things. So they wanted to show me a test. And so they had a man, a woman, and myself. And they said, now I want you to imagine something that you've been thinking about. Just imagine it about it, something you've been thinking about, or some thoughts you've had, or something you like, or something. And so I was thinking, I miss the ocean. I'd love to see the ocean. However, because of past lives, I don't like to swim in the ocean, because I was a mermaid, and I was also walked the plank and ended up with the sharks and things like that. But I love the water. So that very moment, the moment I'm intending and putting that intention out about that, I get an imagery of a lake and me swimming around in a lake, and I can feel the water and everything about it. And then it's gone, and I'm back in this white room, basically. And then the next person goes in, it's a woman, and she says, I'd love to see a beautiful, beautiful rainbow. And the minute that second, there's this beautiful rainbow. And then that was gone. And then the other man, he said, what have you been thinking about? And the other man materialized this big, ugly monster in front of him, because he was thinking about negativity and that kind of thing. And they said, do you understand now that whatever you think you manifest, you do not want to manifest monsters in your life, So it was they really got a lot of wonderful lessons for us. If they are our family.
Well,
And
that's
we do need to be careful with our intentions, because they are powerful, and that's sort of one of the reasons why things aren't instant manifestation at this point, because it's very dangerous if you're not in control of your thoughts, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It is. But I know all of us are seeing this almost instant manifestation. It's just, it's amazing. And I think it's happened more this year than I've ever seen it happen for me, anyway.
I wanted to ask you about something. Actually, one of the viewers that's here all the time, Biker Babe, talked about being at work and seeing a. I hope she doesn't mind me bringing this up, but it's public information. So she saw at work. There's a window that's kind of tall, and she saw a tall white walk by. It didn't acknowledge that it saw her see it, through the window, but she
Uh-huh.
saw it sort of phase in, walk by the window, and sort of phase out. Do you know what's your thoughts on that? Was it positive, negative, or there's really no way of knowing, or what do you think it was doing?
Tall whites. Tall whites
Could be
are
several things, or
Well, tall whites are right here. There are other places, but we have some right here at Creech Air Force Base. The tall whites, and
mm-hmm.
they don't trust humans. They're a little bit they kind of stay out of our sight. Interesting, though, I have to tell you, since I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, I need to tell you this, that they do like to gamble. And so many people have seen them gambling in the middle of the night, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I actually have a fun picture I could show you about
Wow.
and the tall whites. I think it was a tall white, but I know for sure they were definitely hybrids of some kind. But let's see if I
This
can.
one she said sort of had a
It had a
bulging forehead, and
Yeah. Oh,
so,
a bulging forehead,
yeah, if I remember right.
and it was tall.
And it was tall, and I think she said it had a hat or a helmet on.
Hmm. Okay.
So they can pass as humans then in a casino. They just appear to be kind of a extra tall human a lot of
Yeah,
times.
and I think I've seen them myself. They look like they're like a basketball player. They're usually very lanky, very tall and thin. Yeah, but they always wear hats, so I wouldn't know what the cranium looks like. They always either wear a brim hat, a no, or like a
Like a ball cap, like I got on, or
yeah, no,
Like a
I
top
have
hat.
I have seen cowboy hats, the brim hats. Maybe I
so
myself
they work to disguise themselves then, huh?
they work to disguise and they put makeup on because they're very pale skinned and
Hmm.
um, yeah, they are. So the I was going to show you a picture of them if I could grab it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So ask me a question then while I'm grabbing this, and then I'll.
So I think she works at like sort of a, I don't know, an energy place. I was just kind of wondering, why they would be there if they were just scoping out the place or something. Or I guess they got their own agenda amongst us, even though they're with us.
Um,
Really no telling why they would be at a place like that.
and it's what is the place again? It's
It's
what?
like a. I don't want to give too much information on
Oh, okay.
that.
So it's a spiritual place. It's kind of a spiritual.
No, more of a natural
Power.
resource energy power type
Oh,
place. Yeah,
oh, oh. Well, then that might explain more of it, actually. Um, so
they could have been keeping things safe or something too, huh? I mean, are they benevolent a lot of the times?
they're not dangerous if we don't bother them.
So they got their own agenda then.
They
So
do
they're
have
not.
their own agenda, yeah. And I'm trying to find this bright picture. Okay, well, I can only find this one. Not the big one. I can't find, but I'm going to show you this one
Okay,
because it's pretty cool too.
a power plant, she said.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's very possible, I mean, there was a reason that they were there. Um, all right, so here we go. All right, so in the experience of what happened here is a guy in my group also worked in the security booth, and he saw a picture. I mean, when he scanned, he saw these beings that looked really weird, and so he took their picture. And when he took their picture, um, all three of them looked up at the camera, and that really freaked him out because that's possible that they know their picture's being taken. So he grabbed somebody to watch his booth. He ran down there. By the time he got down there, get it now? Full screen. No.
That would be creepy. You take a picture and they all like pose for the picture at one time when they.
They felt it.
Share screen here.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. People didn't want their pictures taken because they said it would take a little bit of their soul or something. Have you ever heard that before, Sherry?
Oh,
Like,
The Indians or something, yes.
yeah, makes you
okay.
wonder.
So select the screen. Select the screen.
Because if you think about it, it does freeze that moment in time. You know what I mean? Sort of.
Oh, there
Okay.
we go.
Let's see if I can make it any bigger. Trying to make it
Oh
big.
wow.
They're interesting looking. They look like them people I ran into in New Mexico once.
Yeah,
They look like some of the men in black I've seen. They normally have the hat on or the brim hat.
yeah. So this was at the wee hours of the morning. If you know, it's like, I don't know, 4 o'clock or something like that.
Are you able to maximize it?
I'm trying to. If I maximize it, then I lose.
Yeah.
See, I lose it. I'm not sure if that's going to be better or worse. See, I lost their head now. Okay. All right. So all three of them looked up at there, and you see this one has a kind of an odd cranium. This one has a very interesting. And so when they all looks up, now that's kind of interesting in itself, right? Except that when the guy got down there, the only person was there, and then there was this tall guy, and so when the guy that had the booth got down there, the only person was there was the dealer, and this is the dealer, and she was just there standing around, and he said, "Where's those weird people that you were just dealing to?" She's, "Oh, nobody's been here. I've been here by myself 20 minutes." No, 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 no. I know. I saw them. I saw them. I took their picture. They were weird looking. They look like aliens. And she says, "No, I've been here by myself. Ask the pit boss." And so I also have other pictures of, of the pit boss. But what's interesting is they were not visible, but they're visible to the camera, but they're not
Wow.
visible to him, to anybody else. And in fact, he said, "But you were throwing cards out." She said, "No, I wasn't, because actually, no one can. When they're a dealer, they're not allowed to do that." And so, but he was watching her. In one of the pictures I have, it even shows him holding the cards. I think it's this one. Or you can see the cards.
Yeah.
But you can see a little bit of the cards there. Um, that's the pit boss. So the pit boss was right in front of him. So the pit boss saw them too, but has no memory of it. So,
That's
so
wild.
it's pretty interesting. So, yeah. So that's Creech Air Force, both the gray types and the the gray types and the tall whites live there. There's also some other hybrid types. Now, I'm not sure if that one was a hybrid or not, but just a really interesting story that he had. And the very interesting thing was right after that, he got fired. He and I got chased by a helicopter, and he left. He took his family and went to England. So they were really unhappy. Whoops.
Yeah, she's saying exaggerate the features a little bit, and that's what she saw. And I can imagine that I don't know, if you saw it from the side, it might look a little more protruding. Yeah, like what you just showed. She said the
Oh,
features were a little more exaggerated, though.
oh, she did, huh? Oh, good.
Yeah,
Probably the one with the cranium,
yeah.
maybe. Oh, interesting. Okay. So let
But
me
I'm
see.
sure they all have their differences in features too, just like we do, you know. So
I lost my video. I don't know what I did here. What I did.
Well, I
she's
had two things to tell Misha really quick. Was that I've there's a couple times I'd had some like neutral to negative experiences, and then I'll hear a woman that's like comforting me and doing light language in right ear,
Uh-huh.
and then also I wanted to say that whenever I do my protection stuff, that I do exactly what you do, and I just like made it up. So that's really cool.
hmm
And the one other question or kind of thing I wanted to ask you was, have you ever had anyone talk about when they were being hypnotized before that happened, that it feels like their consciousness is like literally moving like out of their head, in and out of it?
Never
I
saying exactly those words. Um,
was just curious if anyone else ever said that.
I have an error that occurred here, and I can't seem to get back on. I don't know what I did. Sorry to say.
there's the red hang up button to the right of it is a camera button. You might have clicked your camera off, possibly.
I'm clicking it, but it's not coming back on. I don't know why.
Uh,
I don't know what I did.
no
Well,
problem.
I have to show you pictures, I guess. Instead of, yeah. Well, you know what? I definitely think in hypnosis, it affects different people different ways. And now you're saying like the consciousness felt like it was going in and out of her mind.
Well, it'll happen. It's like I know that it's gonna. that I'm going to, have like a little session or something done, and it'll start happening to where I feel it, and I like try to ignore it because it feels weird. It feels like my brain is coming halfway out of my head, going back in, halfway out, and it does a little more and a little more. And then whenever I do the hypnotizing, I'll feel it like go all the way out, but I know it's right there.
Yeah, and barely have any recollection of it too, which is really, really wild. She definitely goes into that
Oh,
somnambulistic state.
unrealistic.
Yeah.
It's an unrealistic. Yes, you do. Yeah, you definitely do. I was just going to say it's almost like a what I've heard with, and I'm not saying you have an alter, but let's say a personality alter versus not really an alter, but that's almost what they describe as when an alter comes in,
Yeah.
and that comes in with people who've had mind control or MK Ultra or things like that.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that. It does sound similar. I'm sure the process would be similar to that. Other than the fact that a lot of them are tortured and things like that to make it happen.
Oh, I'm sure sorry about losing my video here. I guess I'll just have to finish it without a video.
Oh,
Um,
that's no problem.
so
Is there anything you want to? Okay, so you've got this light language class. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any kind of any speaking engagements you want to talk
sure,
about or anything?
I'd, I'd really like to have my face up there, but I'll tell you what. I'll just show you um, the 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 picture of them instead. What can I say? All right.
That'll work.
So
That cruise looks interesting. Really cool.
Oh yeah. Also, you do UFO like sky watches or whatever. I was looking at that and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool because we're planning on going to ESETI in August, uh, where they have something similar. But you've got one in Las Vegas, one somewhere in California, isn't it?
yeah, well, actually, I do. You know what Airbnb is? I
Mm-hmm.
will Airbnb and do the tours through them, and so I do couple of a couple a week usually. Sorry
That's really cool.
for
And
the
you actually use the I guess military grade night vision to see so much more than you can see with the naked eye or with a traditional camera, right?
yes, they're Gen 3s, and they're the same kind that of night vision goggles that were used in Desert Storm. It's
Oh, okay.
I have an error, so I don't know. I don't know
Oh,
what
it won't share your screen either.
it won't share my screen either. I won't. It's like weird.
Yeah, we'll go with Zoom next time. We should have
Or
went with
just,
Zoom, I guess.
or
I
just
apologize.
tell us about them.
All
Misha,
right,
just
so
tell us
I'll just
about them.
tell you about it. All right, so I take people out with night vision goggles, and we vector in by kind of visualizing, and I put them through kind of a little hypnotized, not really hypnotized, but visualization to go up and invite the ships to come down, and we always have sightings. We watch them do maneuvers sometimes. Sometimes they'll power up and things like that. So I do those, and then of course I have on coming up here at the end of this month from the 19th through the 20th, 19th, yeah, 19th through the 20th at Sedona, Arizona. I have Beyond the Matrix, and you can find out about Beyond the Matrix. I'm going to be doing a speaking tour there. You can find out at Sci Spy TV, and you just put in Beyond the Matrix, and you can find out information. I'll be speaking there, and then be doing night vision tours there, and then uh, coming right back home to Vegas and going to Laughlin on the 24th through the 30th. I'm going to be there doing experiencer groups uh, just about every day. And also, we're as a group. It's actually Melinda Leslie is doing the night vision tours, but we're also all together helping her and assisting her. Tana Newberry is my other partner in the night vision tours, and she is in Benicia, California. And you can also find hers through Airbnb as well. So just go to Airbnb, look under night vision tours or night UFO tours or something like that. I'm not sure what she has. I have UFO tours with night vision goggles. Then
Mm-hmm.
you can book sessions and such as that, or at MegaCon, and come by and see us on both places. I'll have my table out, and I'll be doing readings. I also would love to show you my cards. Unfortunately, I can't because I can't get my.
I'm actually on your website now under events. I was looking at this UFO cruise looks really neat too. But
Okay, yeah, pull it up and let people see it. That'd be great. I
yeah,
For the events you can just go. That's where I was going to, but it wouldn't let me go.
and
So
just to let everybody know, I do have her link down in the description box. So if you're watching this now or later, you can click that and go to this website and check all of this stuff out. This is actually the best way to book with you too, isn't it? If they want a session, because I see
yes, it is.
book online and.
Yeah, I do galactic light reading sessions so that you can find out what your galactic family is. We work together there. Usually the galactic language comes through. Sometimes it's parents come through or family members come through me and then to you. And then also I do card readings with my galactic cards. They're Tana and Newberry and I had developed these galactic experiencer cards. They're called ET experiencer cards. So those are also on the website. Starseedawakening.org is the website. Starseedawakening.org. And oh, there, you got it up. Super.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, so this is okay. This was the first one you
So
were talking
that's
about coming
the
up.
first one, Beyond Matrix in Sedona, Arizona, 19th through the 20th, right? And you can buy day passes for all of these conferences if you're only going to be around for a day or two. Um, and then we do the night vision tours there. And then we have, like I said, the MegaCon that comes next. Just if you scan down.
Oh, just a few days later. Is this
Yeah, just a few days
Nevada? I
through the
guess.
30th, the UFO MegaCon. Yeah, and like I said, I'll be doing experiencer groups there, and then I'll also be doing hypnosis there as well, and the readings at my table, but not the hypnosis. That would be in my room.
Right.
And if you go down, you see the oh, that's the next one that's already sold out. So, but it is the connected, and I'm going to be doing hypnosis and things like that there. And then, of course, you have UFO cruise. That's the Mexican Riviera, October 6th through the 13th, and it's
I love that picture. That's awesome.
yeah, it's going to be yeah, it is. It's a great picture. It's going to be really awesome because we're going to be doing night vision tours out on the deck every night. So, and I'll be speaking there, doing a workshop and doing a
So
lecture.
this leaves out of San Diego and goes to Mexico.
It does to the Mexican Riviera.
Oh wow.
So it's really cool, and they've got a really good price for it. If you want to go on a cruise and you've been wanting to go on a vacation, that's a good time to do it because it's going to be so great because it has all the great things that a cruise liner has with all the fun stuff that you do. Plus, you've got all of the UFO conventions there as well. So it'll be great.
That is so
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to look into that one.
And then if you want to go over to the part that says Las Vegas groups,
Okay.
I think I have, yeah, that's okay. These are the groups that are twice a week, every every Sunday from 12 to 3, or actually it goes till 5. Who knows how long they always go over. 3 to 4 o'clock it ends up. But that is through Zoom. So if you go to Starseed Awakening ET Experiencer Group, um, that's where you can find the events on Facebook. And also, there is another group on Wednesday, which is the also Starseed Awakening Experiencer Group. This is my local group here that you're showing through now. But
Okay.
that one is at 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock every Wednesday. So people
Okay.
can,
So they can click this right
That's right
here and
here
go to
and go to
this.
the.
that's right. They can, whoops, that's a not that one.
Okay.
That's local. If they click up, go up, to the
Oh,
first.
up here on the Facebook? Or
And
no, sorry.
hmm,
Well, I see if you
If you
click the
click the
Facebook
Facebook
one,
one,
it
is
says,
this?
no, this
No,
is
this is
started.
started.
okay, that's the show. But in the events like this, yeah, that's where they're at. So if you just go to my Starseed Awakening ET Experiencer group and join that, you can come and talk to people and share in the Facebook group. And then you can also, um, from there, go to the events and you'll see the different
Is it in this one or?
experiencer groups.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I'm in the wrong group.
click that galactic light language for me, because that's the other thing I'd like to tell people about too. Down here, the
Oh,
February.
right
Oh, right
here.
here?
Yeah, it'll just
Okay.
show the imagery, or will it show it? No, not showing it. That's okay. No problem.
I'm new
I'm
to
new
all
to
this
all
too.
this too.
But anyway, they can go through the events and find the Galactic Light Language class. They can
Okay.
go and find the experiencer groups. This is the radio show. I have a radio show every Saturday from 12 to 2 with Tana Newberry and Geraldine Orozco as my co-hosts.
Okay.
And we have that, so they can come and check that. And that's at KCORradio.com. KCORradio.com is the radio station. I think that's just about everything announcements I have.
So they can get here from
Really,
the
the
website
website
gets you to
gets you to
all
all
that
that
other
other
stuff.
stuff.
It does, yeah,
Okay.
other stuff, and that takes them onto Facebook, and then they can find the things from on Facebook. And also the Vega tours, the Vector 5 tours. That shows the Vegas tours that I have.
Yeah, this is the one I was looking at. This is really cool.
Yeah. This is not our webs. This is just this little click. Our website is actually, if you clicked on the website, then you, I don't know where that is. But anyway, yeah. So that's that. And the,
Oh, UFO Night Watch. Is this
yeah,
the website it takes you to?
yes.
Okay, perfect.
So that's the website.
So really, just that's going to be the hub that people want to go to. They want to go to starseedawakening.org and then really connect to everything from here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a very cool video. I won't play it. I don't know if it's copyrighted music, though. Okay, so let me come out of here.
Oh no, we actually paid for the which you're talking about calling all documents, or you're talking about
I was talking about this Seeing is Believing. That's a pretty cool
that's
video.
a video of UFOs.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I want to just tell everybody to go watch it yourself. It's really cool.
Right.
Music's cool too. Okay.
And they can
All
also
right.
get my books there on my website. I have them really inexpensive there, or they can get them on Amazon.com. Well, I don't send them to anybody in Europe, I'm afraid, because it's like $30 to send a book. You know?
Right.
So I do have them on Amazon and also on Kindle, and I have, the Covert Abduction and Military Harassment Surveillance, Interrogation and Mind Control book. That was my first book, and then They Weren't Butterflies, a Monarch Survivor's Story. And then the Galactic Genealogy Planetary Origin book. And then also the cards they can get there too.
Awesome.
Okay.
It's been wonderful having you here, Misha. I don't know if Sherry's got any more questions for you, but it was a real honor and a pleasure to have you on, and you're welcome back anytime. So if you have anything coming up, you ever want to come back on to let people know, you are certainly welcome.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Shane and Sherry. Is Sherry there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just so glad you came on.
I know that you have all kinds of questions for me on different things. Do you have any questions?
I was gonna just maybe book a session with you and talk about everything.
We'll talk about it privately then. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have one little message I'd like to tell people, that the Galactics actually said this to me some time ago, and they said that they have been talking and speaking with people for so long, and they will just want us to listen and talk back and connect and realize who we are, and that we are, spiritual beings just having this life we have agreed upon, though sometimes it's been very uh, horrendous for some people. We did agree upon it, and some we agreed upon it, the specifics, but some of the things got really out of hand. Let's put it that way. But we did agree upon the experiences. So people don't have to be victims. To be empowered is to the truth will set you free, and when you find the truth out about your own experience, it will set you free. That's what set me free from the MK Ultra program and my life that I was headed for, which was not going to live long, was because I worked really hard at finding out the truth. So it's really important that we do. You know,
That was
that's
one question that I had, kind of, was that, how you were mentioning earlier about how we manifest and everything. Then is it good to really focus on, things like that, or does it like activate it? Because it seems like lately, with just a little bit of focus on it, it kind of activates it some. Does that make sense?
well, okay. We're manifestors. This planet is a matrix, and yes, if you do, let me see, you're not going, you have to bring yourself into to a control place. You have to bring yourself into power. So if you decide that you want to talk about this, get out on the radio and talk about it, then you have to bring every bit of power you've got from your galactic family and your higher self intentions forward to realize that you can stop this manifestation. You can stop the matrix from happening. But yes, this is a matrix planet, and yes, things manifest into reality when we give them too much attention. So what you must do is always have yourself into the right space and your protection in place so that you do not manifest them to attack you. Then,
So it's good to uncover the stuff and deal with it, but not to sort of dwell on it, because that could lead to the manifestation of it, right?
if you go down that rabbit hole, yes. But you do want to know about it and uncover it and clear it
Mm-hmm.
away. And in sessions and such, that's a very important thing that we do is we clear it away and we send it away, and we dissolve contracts and cut cords and things like that. So that's important. You do have to have that. But if you just come, people will come out and start talking about it, and then they say, "Well, now I'm being attacked." Part of that happens to be their fear is manifesting the attack. You, you see what I mean? Their fear is
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
manifesting themselves to be out there now without the protection around so that the other dark side can see them and attack them. So we have to, when we decide to come forward with this, we have to bring all of our intention forward with it and our protection with us, and um, and then we are in control of it.
Mm-hmm. And as I tell people all the time, ask for help. Don't wait for it to get so bad before you ask for help. We have like unlimited resources just ready and waiting to help us, but we have to ask. You
Oh,
know.
absolutely. Our family really wants us to help them, wants their help, wants us to let them help, but they can't do it through without the non-interference. They cannot do it. So, yep, you're absolutely right. Ask, ask, and it'll be given to you. And until you um, put the intention out there, once you do put that intention out there, all manner of things happen and amazing things happen to you that put everything in perspective, and that you understand that your world comes around, your life comes around, uh, your experiences get better, your your finances get better, everything. Once you
Mm-hmm.
put that into the movement, into put it out into the galactic for the energy to come back. I hope that makes sense,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, and they can also call me at 702-544-0000. I have a hotline.
Okay.
Okay.
One more
One more
time with
time
the
with the
number.
number. 702-544-0000. For people who are need to talk. I do turn it off at 11:30 though.
Okay. That's perfect.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on, and hopefully we can get this done.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, Misha.
Hopefully my video and everything won't go all fluey on me.
We'll
Right,
definitely go with Zoom next time.
Oh yeah, I never have any trouble with Zoom. All right.
I think it went perfect.
Okay. Bye now.
Well, lots of love, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Peace. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.